Welcome guys, welcome to this video. In the last video we saw how we can put our endpoints of our API in the Swagger documentation. In this video we are going to generate a token using endpoint, and we are going to use this token. If I execute here, you can see we have token and with the expiration time. Now we can put the custom details, username or something you want to pass in token. We can encrypt it and then we can check if the user who is accessing our endpoints is providing the correct details. So you can see here we have authorize button where you can pass the token as well as all the logs showing up here. So we will see that how we can do this in this video. So let's get started. Alright guys, so in the last video we worked on this API documentation. So we have all the routes set and everything is working fine. But in this video we want to explore how we can put some kind of authentication on this so that anyone who visits this particular route doesn't get the data straight away. We are going to get the validation for it. So let's get started here. So back in the code I have this post.php, and if you remember, this is the main file where we have the functions for all of our API. So if someone wants to go to all posts, this is the function that is working. Then we have single read function, and then creating a single record, and after that we have updating, and at last destroy post. So for this, what we need to do, if you remember in the last video we mentioned these comments on top and these annotations basically making it available to Swagger, and that's what it is reading here. And for when we need to work with the security, we are going to deal in this again. So let's do that. So first thing first, I need to modify the top here, and I'm going to mention a few more things. So I'm going to say here add OA, and then it's going to be security scheme. Alright, and we are going to define a security scheme, what exactly we are looking for. So here we want to say type equals, and I'm going to pass here HTTP, then comma, and after that we want to pass description. So description, so that we can understand what is happening here. So authorization with Jwt generated tokens. Alright, comma, then we want to add after description name. So name, I'm going to pass that authorization. After that we need to, and it's going to be bearer token. Alright, so we are passing bearer here, and at last here bearer format, what kind of token? It's a Jwt. Okay, and last but not the least, we need to mention it here, security scheme equals bearer token. Now this all goes with the documentation, so we need to define it this way. And once I add this like this, I go back here and refresh the page, we have an authorize button here. So what this code did, allowing us to pass a bearer token, and if I click here we can pass a token here. Now we can see that the details we provided there, those are showing up here. So bearer token, and also the name is authorized, so we will be getting the value from this that's going to be authorization. This is the description we have here. You can have anything you want. So now this is done, let's work with the enabling it in the functions, because that's the main goal here. And first thing first, we need to have here this function. So I'm gonna pass here security, just like this, and here I'm gonna say security, and here equals space curly braces, and we want to pass the bearer token. So we are saying that we are going to have a token, and that is required, that's going to be required for accessing this method. So now if I go back here and refresh again, we have another log here. So for this what exactly this did, it enabled it in our Swagger. So in Swagger now we have the lock display. But if I go here in single post and try it out, and if I go to database, we have these posts currently. So if I pass the ID 8 and then I hit execute, you will notice that we are still getting the data. The reason is we need to set up the validation inside the function. This is just enabling us to show it in the Swagger. That's the reason we are seeing these logs. And on top, we can pass the token. So for the Swagger documentation, there is a GitHub page. You can go there, as well as the Swagger PHP. If you search in Google, you will come to the search code github.io, so you can check there too. Another thing I want to show you here is the PHP Jwt. So this is we are going to use for make our tokens. So if I scroll down here, we have to install it. You can see here. So I'm just going to copy this command, and we need to go into the terminal. So here I'm going to go to cd -, and here cd XAMPP, and when I say ls here, let's say cd htdocs, because yeah, so here I get the folder. So here's the test folder I have this application in. So cd test, and here we have the application files. So here API model, these files. So if I do ls here, so I'll get the same files here. All right. Now I paste the command here and install it. And we need to wait till it completes. Now if you see the example here, we have to include these two libraries, then basically the two files, then we have a key we need to provide. It can be example key, anything you can pass here. If you scroll down, you will see the example of like primary, public keys, what kind of keys you can pass here and how they are encoding. So you can see that how complicated the key is, but we are not going to pass that. We're just going to pass a simple key. Then we have here issue, and we have audience, then we have issue time, and then we have the expiration time, these things here. So what we need to do, we need to create a method. So if I go back here, currently we are just getting the post, displaying the posts and deleting the post, but there is nothing we are doing where we are dealing with any authentication. So for that, I'm gonna create a method here, and simply I'm gonna call public function, and I'm gonna call it auth. So for authorization, that's gonna be simple and easy to remember. Now we need similar comments, so I'm just gonna copy this and paste here. Alright, spacing you can adjust, and here we need to change a few things. So here I say test API posts. Now I'm going to create a file here. It's going to be auth.php, and here I'm going to pass generates tokens for validation, or anything you want to say simply. So this is just like that. It's gonna go inside. You can give it a different tag. So I can say give here, instead of force, I can do security. So it looks separately, as it's going to deal with security actually. So here we don't need to do this, because for generating a token you cannot, because this is the function I'm going to generate the token. After that we will check the security. So if you have security here, you won't be able to generate the token, right? So here inside out, simple, I'm going to say try statement PHP, and here I'm going to pass catch. Alright, something goes wrong, this will do the trick. Now the rest is the code that we saw here. So what I do, simply first copy these two lines, go back here, scroll top, here on top of this file we need to include these, and pass it here like this. Now this is not going to work straight away because it requires Composer, and Composer added this vendor folder where we have autoload file, and this file we need to add here. So let's do that. So we're gonna say, all right, to work with, we need a file, and that file is inside the directory. So here we say $server, and here we need to pass document underscore root. Make sure spellings are correct. Then I want to say /test, as the folder name is test. Inside there we have vendor folder, and then we have autoload.php. So it should work now. So we have it. So these are going to be working, because if you go here, you can see the Firebase is here, and inside it you will see the Jwt file, which is here, and also you will see the key file. So you can see that these files are coming from here, so we need it. Alright, close that. Now let's work with this. So we added this, we have our function here. Now let's deal with the functionality of this, because we don't have currently anything inside it. So let's scroll down here. I'll move it a bit here, and what do we need to do? So mainly I'm gonna copy the payload, and I'm going to paste in here. Okay, and now we can handle it easily. So what do we need to do? $issue date. Okay, so issue date, we will run PHP function time to get that, and then $issue expiration date. So whatever date you want. So the array here, first we need to pass, it's going to be HTTP, not the HTTPS, that's the localhost. So localhost /test. Okay, the second one is going to be the localhost. Then we have to pass the variable. So here we go $issue date, and here goes the expiration date. Alright, so far so good. Now if we go back to the documentation, okay, I made something. Okay, semicolon missing here, sorry about that. Now we need to go back here. Here we'll see that we are encoding here, Jwt encode, payload, and then a key, and then code here given. Now if you see here in the comment, you must specify supported algorithm. So if you open this link, so if I open it here, so there are going to be few settings you can check, you can read about it, how this all works. This is a long list. You can see a complete page here. Here are all the things given. These are the algorithms, and there are different type of algorithms we can pass. But for this example, what we're going to do, we're going to pass the way they used it. So I'm just going to copy this, go back to the code editor, and I'm going to pass it here like this. So here our payload is passed. We don't have a key currently, so what I do, I'm going to pass a key. So I simply say this, and we want to pass this key when we encode as well as when we decode. So I'm going to pass this key from the class. So outside the class, we can create here protected $key, and for now I just pass random characters here. Anything, it's basically when you encoding it, this key you're passing, and when you're decoding it, the key should be the same. So we are storing it in the class variable, so it's going to be the same in the V whenever we are going to use it, because we won't be updating it anyway. Now we can add more things here inside this payload, because what is going to happen, Jwt is going to create a token which is going to include all the information, these informations, and any information you want to add further, you can add here. So I'm going to pass here user name, and it should be under code to match the pattern here. And I want to say, alright, so we want to allow only a person whose name is Roger Max, let's say. Alright, so this is the user we want to verify. If the user token includes this name, we will let the user work with our content, otherwise not. Okay, so here I say generated token, so that it's easy to understand what is happening here. Token. Now in the next line we want to return. So what we want to return here, it's going to be array. First thing going to be token, and I'm always spelling wrong for tokens, so here we need to make sure. And after that the expiration, so here it expires, so you can even check like your token is, if the token is right, if it's still valid with according to the time, you can do that too. So expiration here, so that kind of validation we can pass here. So if you remember, we created, we mentioned here that this is going to have the path and this is going to be the file. So if I go to API post, we don't have this file here, so let's create auth.php. So basically we will be displaying our, because here we are returning the token, so we need to display it there. So let's do that. So what I do is simply go to destroy, and I copy everything from here, go to auth and paste there to save time. Now here we are including the database, we are including the main model where we have all the functions so that we can call the method. We are instantiating database and we are passing it into the post class, so you can have, get the idea how things are working here. Now what we need to do below this, we need to change the code. So I'm going to remove this because we just want to generate a token. So it's a token, so I say here token. Alright, so as we have the token, we can check if, and here I say if not $token. Oh, what? So we are saying that this is the class and this is the method. If it returns false, what we want to do. So this is what we will be doing: http_response code, and we want to pass here 404. Okay, and we can show a message here, so we can say echo and JSON_encode, and here we will pass an array which is going to have a message, and message is going to be cannot create token contact admin, or say generate instead create. Alright, it's array, so we pass comma here, semicolon here, so that error, there are not going to be any error. Here we say else, and then after else we say this is the case when we get the value basically, so we need to display the token to user. So I'm just going to copy this code here, and here I'm going to paste the status code. It's going to show a return, and after that we can show the message. So for that, again, I will copy this, paste here. Now if I go back here, you can see we are passing, returning an array. So here we work with array and JSON code. So here I can remove this, and we are getting the array, so we are just going to pass this straight away inside it. So there it is, just return it. Okay, so they are going to return from here token expression, and it's going to display right here. Alright, looks good so far. So we have it here, we added the annotation, and let's go back to Swagger, refresh the page, and here if we see, you can see that we have our endpoints and the posts. Now we have for security, under security. Click here, try it out, execute, and scroll down. You will see that we have a response. We have expiration time given there, and there is a token given there, and that's great. Now this is the token we need to verify. So for showing you the magic, what we do, I copy this and minimize this. You can see this is we can pass here and close. Now it changes. So this is how we can pass. The same way you can pass using Postman, but the thing is still it is not validating because we have to put some code inside our methods. So here, let's say this read post. So if I go back now, each time you refresh the page, you can see that that black color is gone. It's the token is gone as well. So you need to again pass the token here to authorize. So each time refresh, that affects. Okay, so what we do here now, go back, and now we need to work and think how we can put our validation here. All right, so first thing first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say here, try statement, main thing here. I say $headers is equal to, and we're going to say Apache, and we are going to request headers. All right, so we are just calling all the headers, and let's say here var dump, and I'm going to pass $headers. All right, and then exit. Okay, so if I go back here, refresh, and try execute, here are the headers we are getting, the detail I'm getting from this function. Now you can see that we don't have authorization anywhere. Now if I go to the auth, try it out, execute, say the token, and I pass the token to a field, authorize. Now we execute this post, getting all post, scroll down, and you can see we have the authorization showing up here. So this is just coming from here. Now we can check for that particular header in this case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say authorization. All right, we can check for this if it is present or not. So here we can execute if condition. All right, and we can remove this exit. And here simply what do we need to do? We want to extract the token. So token is coming from here, so we can pass it here. Now if I go back here quickly, try it out, execute, we have okay, we need to try again, execute. Okay, we have token, copy, minimize that, and here pass the token. And now if I execute here, you can see that the okay, it's giving us the data straight away. Previously we were getting the, so what I do is pass here var dump, and I want to show you exactly what is happening here. So headers and exit. So if I go here and execute, now if you see we have a bearer and a space in front of our token. So that's something it is prepending to our token. The real token value, if you see here, the token is this. It doesn't have bearer in front of it. So we need to remove that, because this token we need to use for decoding and getting the username out of this token. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a function here from PHP. It's a string, and I replace, and first it takes what to search for. So we say bearer and space, and then what you want to replace with, that's the second, and then the last is the from where. So we are passing this, it's going to remove the bearer from it, and we can check that even. So here I'm going to paste it right here, and token, paste here. All right, go back here and just make sure our page is not refreshed. It should have the token in there. So now we have the token. You can see simple token. There's no bearer in front of it. So now it's the time we decode. The same way we encoded here, like this, the same way we want to decode now. So for decode, we go back here, and you can see we have here a statement for decode. Copy the statement, and we come here and paste here. All right, so token, we want to pass instead of JWT. Then we have a key, so it's going to be this key. If you remember, we set the key in the class, so the same key we pass. So that key gonna go here. Now we are instantiating a key class here, and this key class is available because we added it on top. So make sure you have it, otherwise you will get the error. Then we have decoded, so we can check what we have. So we can say here var dump again one more time, pass here the variable, and put exit at the end, and go back here without refresh, just hit execute. Now this time we get uncaught, cannot handle. Okay, we get an error. So is in the package itself. You can see here cannot handle the request prior to a time error. So it's given here the same we are facing. So if I go back here, I cannot handle the prior to. So the solution for this problem is if you go here and you can ask here if in the future if you face any problem like that. But here it says that it has to do with NBF. So when I check, basically we need to pass here exp as expiration instead of the NBF. So now when we pass this and then we go here and execute, so we need to refresh and try again. So let's generate the token again, and let's pass it here quickly. Authorize, close. Now let's get the posts again. Now you can see that we are getting the data and the username. So now here we are decoding it here. So var dump is happening here. So if I want to check for the username, I can check for the username. So simply I will say here username. Alright, and let's try again. So if I execute this time, we get the Roger Max. So you get the idea. You can put the validation here that way. So if I say here if, now you can check based on anything you like, but I want to check based on username. So I'm just going to cut here. I say is set, and you can also check if username equals to and what name we provided. Just we need to pass that name here. So Roger Max, right? So if this is, then we need to say that is, we can say else, and we want to say return false. Okay, in any case we want to return false, but we only return true or data in case we have the token. So here, if the header is not set, return false. So alright, so our code is here and we want to return the post, so we can get this and we can put inside here. So if the username is this, then we want to return post, otherwise we get the idea. So simply, alright, so now I need to check the name, if the name I provided is correct, otherwise it's going to give me a problem. Yeah, it's Roger Max. Now if I go back here and hit execute this time, we get the posts. Now let's refresh, go back to posts without providing token, try it out, execute, and we get error. Now we need to correct this and display a message. So for that we are, if you notice, I remember return here, return false each time. So the value is not set. So if the error is not set, it is returning false. So for that we need to go into the post file here. It's Boolean, we need to check that. So so if it return false, it's a Boolean. So we can check here if is bool, and then simply we can do something. So I pass here $data, and here we pass echo JSON, so like this, and after this exit. Okay, so go back here and execute, and so we're getting the message, the no posts found, but we're still getting the authorized undefined variable. So for that, if I go back here, we need to check if it is set, and it should fix it. Let's check. Now if I go back execute, no post found. Okay, so if it is set, then fine. If you pause it straight away, it's not going to check that way, so yeah. Alright, so no post found, and if we pass the API keys token, it's giving us the post. Let's add the same way to the other methods. I copy this line from here, bearer token, to the single, just after this line, just we add here, and here we are going to do the same way. So simply I want to pass. Alright, so here I'm gonna get the same logic. So I'm gonna go here, header is set, and I'm gonna copy this portion, and we want to check till we have the username Roger. So I'm gonna copy it and go here inside it. I'm going to paste here. Now 2 if statements are there, so we need to put 2 closing tags. Alright, so just like that. If we have the username and the username is this, then we want to do this. So all the code that we have here, returning post and all, we want to put this inside here. Alright. And if it is not set, in that case we want to pass else, or basically we are passing return statements. So return statements we can simply fire like this, false. We don't need to put their if statement. Alright, so this is if the header there, otherwise this is if the username there. So here they're going to be a return false as well. Alright, the same way. Here. Okay, so now this is for the single one. So I'm going to close these files. Go to single.php here, where we are getting this method is here, and we need to check the same way we did is bool. So same way here. So where we have this, I'm going to add a condition. If not, is bool. Alright, so it's not boolean. That means it's a post data. Then show the post data, and otherwise no post found. Yeah, perfect. So let's see. So go back here, refresh. I pass the token again, this time for the single. So put here authorize close, and we go to single. Now here in database we have post with ID 8 and 9, so we can pass any of these IDs. So I pass 9 here, execute, and we have it. Now if I go back, refresh, and you can see the token is gone. Try, put a 9, execute, no post data. So yeah, it's secure. Now let's work with the insert same way. So we need to copy the line and go to insert, just below the response, put here. Alright, now create function. We already have tried here, so times error. Now we need to work with the validation, so I go on the above function. So we are going to check here for the headers and this portion again. So copy and go here, insert try, and paste the code, close the statements. Alright, now inside it I put all the code. So simply cutting the code, pasting here, indent it a bit. Alright, so here if the name is not set and authorization is not set, we will be returning false again. Here as well, return false. Okay, now this is returning true, otherwise false. So yeah, it will be fine. So that is going to be simple because we are returning true in case post created, otherwise false. So we go to insert.php here where we have our method. So we are calling it here. You can see, all I need to do, I'm going to take this method out of here, and I'm going to put it into variables. I call it $new post is equal to this method, and then if it is true, that means it goes up. Okay, I got it over here. If it's true, put anything else, so it should be alright. Yeah, so if it's bool, okay, it's going to be boolean and true, so yeah, that's alright. So let's go back here and let's do this. Let's quickly add it. Let's do this. Try it and execute. Copy the token. Put the token, authorize, close. Go to insert. Try it out. It's a title, testing auth, testing auth description, category ID, let's add 2 here, and execute. And we get post added successfully. So if I go here, we have the post. Now very fresh, goes directly here, try it out. Testing 1 to 3, and description 1 to 3. And 2 here, execute. This time we get post creation failed. So yeah, perfect. Let's quickly add it into update and destroy as well. So I copy the code from the here security, and I go down here, add it here. Okay, now inside method we need similar code, so I'm gonna copy the header till if statement. We go in update. And we already have try here, so we don't need to add it. So I added here our code, closing these statements. And let's put the code logic if username matches. So take it up. So here till, till here, cut all the code. It goes inside here, and we need to indent it a bit. Yeah. Okay, post creates fine, otherwise return false. Post updated, then do not return false. So this is if. Alright, so it should be fine. Okay, so we are returning false and true again. So we go update.php. Here, our method is here, right there. So just cut it. And I want to say $post updated is equal to this method, and if we go back, we are not returning post, right? We are returning true and false. Similarly it goes. So if it is post updated, that means if it is true, post updated. Otherwise we put simply paste here this post update failed. Simple. Go back, refresh, generate a token, and put this token to authorize, close, go to update, and try it out. Now we need to update a post. Let's update the 8. So ID 8, and I'm gonna pass category to 2, and their title and these both going to be strings. So execute. Post updated successfully. Go to database. Go there. You can see these are string. Now refresh and update again. Try it out without token. And the ID was 8, so I'm gonna pass 8. I say string 1 to 3, description 1 to 3, and this category ID 2. Execute. And post update failed. Worked. Now let's do the delete. That's the final that we have to deal with. So that's going to be quite same. So all we need to do, go back and get the security from here, and in the delete put it right there. Alright, this enables the security on it, so we can see it on the Swagger documentation. Now to work with, we already have try here, luckily. So we get here headers and get the user. Alright, so here close the statement, close another statement, and get the code here, the logic, and paste inside if. Alright, so and if it works then fine, otherwise we are going to again return false each time. So it is going, if it is going to delete, it's going to return true, otherwise false, so it's going to be easy to do. So I'm going to remove these files and destroy.php, look for the function, we have it here. So we don't even need to put it into variable. If it's true, this happens, and we put here else, and simply say here, otherwise it fails. Alright, now quickly let's check this out. So go here, Alt, try it out, execute, we get the token. Okay, now once we have the token, we put here, authorize, close, go to delete, and here, try it out. Now we want to delete post, let's say 8, and I put here 8, and then execute. We get post deleted successfully. Now refresh without token, and here if we see the post is gone. Now let's delete any of these posts 9 to 14. Try it out. Let's add 9 here. Now we don't have a token provided this time. Execute. Post deletion failed. So yeah, you can see that successfully we have the validation, so user cannot come and do anything on our endpoints. They need a API token that we're generating, and we also can check for, but currently we are just checking for one thing, that if there is a username we provided that is present there, and the user name is this. We can also check for time, we can also check for other details if you want to pass. That's only how you can expand this. Now there is one minor thing, that without, if I refresh, we don't have token provided, and I go here and get our posts and try it out and hit execute, we get no post found. But in that case we should get you're not authorized and your token is required. It shouldn't say you no post found. So for that, let's say if I go to post.php, and for getting the post there, read post is the method. So what we were doing, we are just saying if there is user, then fine, otherwise return false, and here return false here. So you can customize it as well. So for example, here if the authorization is a set, not set, then it goes inside, otherwise we say here return 2, and if the user is not set, then return 3, and let's say, and then the post. Right, now what we need to do, only go to post. Now here we're checking is boolean, here we can check is numeric. Now when you check is numeric, inside you can check for different values. So here you can say, and I'm gonna put this echo from here and here. All right, so if we go back here for 2, for 3, we want to say that you are not authorized. Yeah, this goes this way. Now for if post not found, that's something that's further. So if I go back to the here, and now without doing anything, if I say execute, so we get you're not authorized. That makes a lot of sense. You can customize it as you want. I just wanted to show you that there is a more better approach doing than passing numbers, because these also get confused in some cases. But that's totally up to you how much you want to expand it. And